Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims, and welcome to day 316 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. Today we're going to get some great advice from Christ on how to fight temptations. He's giving this directly to Sister Faustina because, as you remember yesterday, she was going through a lot of temptations because of the darkness of her soul. And so today Christ is giving her some pointers, I guess you could say. And they are perfect pointers for all of us to follow. And so we're going to talk about that. Our readings will be from Notebook 5, numbers 1560 through 1565. February 3rd, 1938. Today, after Holy Communion, Jesus gave me a few directives. First, do not fight against a temptation by yourself, but disclose it to the confessor at once, and then the temptation will lose all its force. Second, during these ordeals, do not lose your peace. Live in my presence. Ask my mother and the saints for help. Third, have the certitude that I am looking at you and supporting you. Fourth, do not fear either struggles of the soul or any temptations, because I am supporting you. If only you are willing to fight, know that the victory is always on your side. Fifth, know that by fighting bravely, you give me great glory and amass merits for yourself. Temptation gives you a chance to show me your fidelity. And now I'm going to tell you something that is most important for you. Boundless sincerity with your spiritual director. If you do not take advantage of this great grace according to my instructions, I will take him away from you, and then you will be left to yourself, and all the torments which you know very well will return to you. It displeases me that you do not take advantage of the opportunity when you are able to see him and talk with him. Know that it is a great grace on my part when I give a spiritual director to a soul. Many souls ask me for this, but it is not to all that I grant this grace. From the moment when I gave you this priest as spiritual director, I endowed him with new light so that he might easily know and understand your soul. O my Jesus, my only mercy, allow me to see contentment in your face as a sign of reconciliation with me, because my heart cannot bear your seriousness. If this continues a moment longer, my heart will burst with grief. You see that I am even now crushed to dust. And at that very moment I saw myself in some kind of a palace, and Jesus gave me his hand, set me at his side, and said with kindness, "My bride, you always please me by your humility. The greatest misery does not stop me from uniting myself to a soul, but where there is pride, I am not there." When I came to myself, I reflected on what had happened in my heart, thanking God for his love and for the mercy that he had shown me. Jesus, hide me. Just as you have hidden yourself under the form of the white host, so hide me from human eyes, and particularly hide the gifts which you so kindly grant me. May I not betray outwardly what you are effecting in my soul. I am a white host before you, O divine priest. Consecrate me yourself, and may my transubstantiation be known only to you. I stand before you each day as a sacrificial host and implore your mercy upon the world. In silence and unseen, I will empty myself before you. My pure and undivided love will burn in profound silence as a holocaust, and may the fragrance of my love be wafted to the foot of your throne. You are the Lord of Lords, but you delight in innocent and humble souls. When I entered the chapel for a moment, the Lord said to me, "My daughter, help me to save a certain dying sinner. Say the chaplet that I have taught you for him." When I began to say the chaplet, I saw the man dying in the midst of terrible torment and struggle. His guardian angel was defending him, but he was, as it were, powerless against the enormity of the soul's misery. A multitude of devils was waiting for the soul. But while I was saying the chaplet, I saw Jesus just as he is depicted in the image, The rays which issued from Jesus' heart enveloped the sick man, and the powers of darkness fled in panic. The sick man peacefully breathed his last. When I came to myself, I understood how very important the chaplet was for the dying. It appeases the anger of God. So yesterday we talked about Sister Faustina's darkness of the soul that she was going through and how she was feeling all kinds of temptations and she was feeling terrible and awful. And I read you a letter from the Screw Tape letters, from Screw Tape to Wormwood. They're devils, and just talking about how when you are in a trough in your spiritual life, it's very easy to tempt you. Today, we hear from Christ some different tips on what we are supposed to do during temptations. And these are very good because oftentimes people will tell us, you're going to be tempted. And then we all think in our heads, but what do we do? I think these tips today from Christ they're very practical. And so there's things that we can really keep in mind. So let's just go through the different ways that Christ tells us to fight off temptations. In the first way, he says, do not fight against a temptation by yourself, but disclose it to the confessor at once, and then the temptation will lose all its force. So if we're going through something, if we're being tempted to alcohol or gossip or pornography or whatever it is, when we keep that temptation inside, when we try to keep it a secret, obviously God knows, but when other people don't know, it has a lot of power over us. And it's a real fight and struggle to keep away from that temptation because nobody else knows what we're going through. Nobody else can help us. Nobody can hold us accountable. Nothing. Some of us hold it together pretty well and people don't even realize that we're struggling on the inside. And so we're kind of left all alone to deal with it. Obviously, God is with us, but the immediate people in our vicinity, we're not getting any help from them, but we could be. And that's what Christ tells us we need to do. We need to not go through it by ourselves. And the thing with temptation and sin is once you just tell it to the world, it loses so much power because now people know, now they can help you. If you tell your confessor, they can give you tips on how to work through a particular temptation. And it releases you a little bit. It just lifts that burden off your shoulders and you realize that other people know. And so it changes how you approach the temptation because oftentimes we don't want to get caught falling into that temptation when people know that we're struggling with it. And so it gives us some fortitude. The next thing that Christ says to do is during these ordeals, do not lose your peace. Live in my presence. Ask my mother and the saints for help. God gives us many, many helps, and sometimes we just don't utilize them. And praying to Mary and asking for her prayers and the saints is a help. Because when we turn our minds to them and ask for their intercessions, it's taking our mind off the temptation and putting it on things of God, the saints, his mother, God himself. And so now we know that they know, obviously they know anyway, but it makes it more real for us. And those extra prayers will help us to feel more at peace because we know that we have people on our side. And so Christ is just saying, don't lose your peace. Don't freak out. Because oftentimes when we freak out, we make really bad decisions. And if we just stay calm and rational and realize that, yes, we can get through this temptation, we'll make way better choices. The third thing Christ says is have the certitude that I am looking at you and supporting you. We always need to remember this when we're fighting a temptation. Christ is right there beside us. He is our help. We're not really going through it alone. He's right there and we can ask for his help and he will give us actual graces to get through that moment. Then fourth, he says, do not fear either struggles of the soul or any temptations, because I am supporting you. If only you are willing to fight, know that the victory is always on your side. So this is really incredible, because what Christ is saying is, if you just want to fight against the temptation, the victory is going to be yours. If we just fall into despair or just give up, then there's nothing Christ can really do to work with that. But if we say, no, I'm going to fight this, I'm going to do it, in a calm way. I'm going to be rational. I'm going to ask for help. I want to fight against this. The victory is ours, Christ says. It will always be on our side. It's when we say to ourselves, well, this is just who I am. This is the kind of sinner that I am. This is the sin I struggle with. And it's just never going to get any better. And I might as well just, realize that now about myself. That's when we're going to, be tempted away to that sin. But if we just want to fight it, Christ will give us the help. Then he says, know that by fighting bravely, you give me great glory and amass merits for yourself. Temptation gives you a chance to show me your fidelity. So, yes, we're all going to be tempted in something. Some of us in one sin more than another sin, but we're all going to be tempted. And it's a struggle that we're going to have to fight through, every single one of us, whatever that sin is or sins that we struggle with. But temptations are a chance to show our fidelity to God. Do we just give up and give in to the sin? Or do we stand and fight? And if we stand and fight, we earn a lot of merits for ourselves and we give God a lot of glory. And it can be done. Don't ever think that a sin cannot be overcome. It can. We just have to, follow these tips. And also, I would say, receive Holy Communion, go to confession. And on the next page, Christ talks a lot about, speaking to a spiritual director. And again, if you have one of those in your lives, utilize them, utilize them, utilize them. We see Christ here kind of berating Sister Faustina for not wanting to talk to Father Andres in our readings from yesterday because she's like, oh, he's just not going to understand. Christ is saying, if I've given you a spiritual director, I've enlightened their soul so that they can understand you. So you need to be using them. So if you have the blessing of a spiritual director, take advantage of that relationship. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 317. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.